Again, welcome everyone, at least those who can make it to our live today. And we are exploring the book of Genesis, and today it is chapter 5 of Genesis. This is an important chapter, and for people who are secular, this is the part of I would say, this is a chapter that you look at and you look at the life expectancy of some of these people. You're like, okay, there's no way people used to live 900 years and longer. So because it starts with the same phrase, these are the generations of the patriarch. So if you're secular, that's probably your experience. If not, there may be something else. And if you are a religious person, this is the chapter where you kind of just sleep through because it's not exciting at all, and it's boring. The names are difficult to pronounce and it's not really intuitive. And I am here to suggest that there is a more nuanced way of looking at chapter 5 of Genesis. As a reminder, we are considering this from the old Bible of King James Version. Sorry, this is an Afro-centric perspective of the exploration. Of course, you see that everybody on that picture is not of African descent, and that's fine. It's most likely that the person who or the commission to write this was done by someone who was not African. And we should not be concerned to read into it too much that there is no um, black or African people of African descent depicted in these pictures in the Bible. I'm telling you, this Bible has pictures about everything, and it's the same race, I would say. And I've come to appreciate it rather than being um, apprehensive about it, because it is a case that someone wrote in and put their preference, and I am confident that there will be a time when a version of the Bible will be written from Africa, and it will have pictures of people of African descent all over it or somewhere, because it's supposed to be a book that represents the world, all of us. And one of the things that I found in chapter 5 is exactly that. It is, you have to consider that we just spoke about the generations that came from Cain and how he was cursed and all that kind of thing. I realized that when we're talking now about the generations of Seth, who is the son that was born to Adam in replacement of Abel, who was slain by his brother Cain. And we learn that the biggest lesson in there is that it is necessary to thrive for your purpose and work diligently towards that. And sometimes, most of the time, it comes with the ridicule, but you stick by it and you will do your part. And it will have its own fruits, personal or otherwise. On the other hand, it could be that you've done that. You have worked your purpose. You've put in all your effort and stood tall in front of the admiration of the ones who have set the rules. I'll say the feminine side of the divine has set those rules of hypergamy to make sure that we do compete and we make the best out of our being. You could do that and still be slayed by people who have done less work or have put less sacrifice in the work that they do. It is a call to be vigilant about people who gives you story, um, trying to get what is rightfully yours. It will happen. It happened to him. And that's how it starts. But the universe, for some reason, has its own justice, because even if you are slain, even if you die, the spirit within you will live forever, and you will manifest yourself later on in life, which is the spirit of Seth, who is associated usually with Satan or Shaitan, so that we cannot bring our attention to this. And it is important. Those spirits continue to live on. And that's why it's not important to be scared when you're pursuing your purpose, to be scared of the ridicule or losing out or even death, because it will happen. But the justice of the universe will make sure that your spirit lives on. And we know some of the heroes in Africa, because this is an Afro-centric way of looking at the scriptures. It's like we have seen those heroes who have made their ways and who have made an impact in our lives. We who have made it possible so that we can be even reading the Bible at this point without fear of being killed or molested and all that kind of thing. We have seen the Lumumbas, the Kwame Nkrumah. We've seen the, Ajukwe. We've seen so many people who were great in Africa and were killed, but they were not dead because their spirit still live on, based on that justice that is around in the universe. That is what we got from there, and we got from it. And the other thing is that even you may think that you got away with murder by having just a mark on you that you should not be touched, but everything, gets its rewards right here, or even its punishment. And in the case, we saw that the violence got so bad that Lamech, who had slain someone else, had said, if Cain was to be avenged 7 times, then Lamech should be avenged 77 times. It just shows that the violence had spread out across the surface of the earth, and it was really untenable. Now, in light of that, we have one Enoch in the generations of Noah, based on chapter 4. We have one Lamech in the generation of Cain, based on chapter 4. And now in chapter 5, we have an Enoch and we have a Lamech. And what is interesting is that the Lamech, who is father to Methuselah, actually Methuselah is the father to Lamech, and Lamech becomes the father to Noah. Noah, who is known by everyone as the God's servant who escaped the destruction of the universe, or the planet. Now, we should stop there. Why 2 Enochs? Why 2 Lamech? It is easy to make a connection because Noah is known to be the person who had rescued the rest of humanity by having a certain way of living that was purposeful. And Lamech, who was from Cain, is so violent that right after that, Noah is showing up. I suggest that, and again, this is the exploration that we're doing. The suggestion is that there was a world that was so violent at the time of Lamech, the first Lamech, from the descendants of Cain, and it got so bad that it angered God or the gods, and the whole earth was destroyed